My hair is huge, so it must be time to start. I thought today what I would do is run through how I made Madonna as a track, because I haven't looked at the Logic file since last June and since then it's like gone through lots of different stages. It got mixed by my friend G and then mastered by Emily Magpie, so it definitely sounds more polished, but I thought it would be sort of interesting, sort of funny to look into just the original file and see what I did and how I made it, because I can't remember. And I was very much wanting to produce in such a way that it sounded like I had a full band, but I was the full band. A full band. Yeah. So, fingers crossed this works. And let's get into it. This is what it sounds like. So I think most of the elements are just in there as they are, and I can tell that I've organised this in an absolutely horrible way. When I took these to get them mixed, I was basically told that if we hadn't have been friends since we were 11, there's no way that she'd work with me, because all of them are called like 8 audio SS_AID102. Like, this is just not. So I'm going to spend a minute just like neatening these up and also seeing what we've got. This is a little bit reminiscent of looking back at how you did your eyeliner when you were a teenager and you sort of go, why did I think that was a good idea? I might speed this bit up. Okay, I've gone through, we've got all the instruments, they're sort of labelled. I don't think I kept all of these guitars in, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to check the instrumental mix here. Oh, I did! I say I did. I love working with G because we've known each other so long that she is incredibly blunt. She's just like, Molly, why have you put 6 guitars in here when there only needs to be one? And I over-egg the pudding with most of these things. I get a bit carried away with everything, put it too much in, but so I think there's only one of those in there. And I think it's that top one. Welcome to Production with Molly. Do I ever know what I'm doing? No. I guess you tripped up by a bit of flattery. You can work with that. Can't go full psycho, but I want to be a bit spiteful. And then, what did I do to this one? Can't go full psycho, but I want to be a bit spiteful. Okay, I like those. They'll stay. I think these are just put in to give G like an idea of what I wanted. I still think ad-libs are nice, but I don't know what I put in. Laughs. Weird laughs. Of course it's weird laughs. What? And chopped up bits. We'll mute those for now and we'll keep those. Right. Welcome. Here's how I produced Madonna. And and it's not a complete mess. So I start pretty much all of my songs on the acoustic guitar. Normally right in bed, we'll just play 3 or 4 chords, and then work it up from there. So with this one, if I remember correctly, I started with the bass, which would be just and I often like guess how to mix it. I know I'm going to hand this off to G, so I don't tend to worry too much about it sounding absolutely amazing because they've spent years of their life producing hundreds, if not thousands, of tracks for people. So I know that what could take me like, what, several days takes them about 5 minutes. When I went out to London to mix these, we mixed 6 tracks in one day. It was insane, but they're just so good. They're so good, they're so quick. So started with the bass and then added all these guitars that I've chucked in the bin. So in my bin, being just, I wanted it to sound quite rocky. Oh yeah, great. And I can do bar chords. So that's what that's what that means. But didn't make it in the final mix because it just, with everything going on, you don't really need it. I've left it on. That's enough, really. I'm gonna keep this little breath in. I used to make songs with a friend of mine called Michael, who now does like really cool music for games and stuff. And I always liked how he produced vocals, and one of the things that we did in a track was just using breath percussively, and that's something that I really like to put in all the tracks. Are just like, but like that's not quick enough. I think it's right. So again, another one where I'm gonna hand this off, and I think sometimes it's a motto that I live by, is that it's better done than perfect. And if I can get it up to the standard where I can hand it over to someone and they go, I get what you were going for and I know how we do it and I can show you how to do it, great. That's all I really need to do. I think it's counterproductive to try and do everything. She says, after trying to do literally everything all the time. Do as I say, not as I do. And then beyond that, I used samples. Often I use samples in 2 ways. It's either an instrument that I can't record, so like drums, or I can't play, like violin, or it's just an interesting sound that makes me happy, and I like to manipulate them so they don't sound like the samples all the time, or they are how I want them to be. Like, I can't remember what this was originally. So for that I just kept the first bit and made it quite short and snappy, and then looped it and just had it in the mix. But then this one just I liked too much, so I kept it as it was. It reminded me of the start of like Mario Kart and the siren. I liked it. I like the idea that all of it would sound like a sort of post-apocalyptic revenge dark urban thriller, and like it's like the start of almost like a pursuit. So that's why those 2 are in there. And then beyond that we've got just like a drum kit. Again, I didn't do anything to mix this because she can handle it. And below that, just having a 4/4 kick to give it an almost like danciness to it. I'd sort of started getting into learning how to produce electronic music. I wanted to program my own drums, but I always find drums really hard, and at this point I was still just quite enjoying using different kit loops. Like you can see here again, I've chopped up these drums to get them to sound how I want, whether it's like just taking out bits so it's just not kicking all the time, and building up elements to make it sound more full. Yeah, don't really have that much to say on the drums until we get to the breakdown, where this like really cool clap loop comes in. And again, I've chopped it up here so it's not like constant. And then the last thing is just, yeah, so it's drums, bass. We've got the lead guitar on, it's like crunchy. And that's what you get when you only have the demo of Guitar 5. Just a couple of little extras. But we've got another Foxtrot in here. And again, if you look at what the original sample was, and it just goes on with it. So I think it's about being selective about what you want to use and then using it in the way that you want to use it to make the sound that you like. And that's really all production. My favourite sound in this whole thing is this weird one, and I have no idea what it is, but I think it really makes it. It sounds like if a man was turned into a dog. What is that? I don't know what it is, but it sounds sick. So we kept that one. Yeah, this is how I made Madonna. It is a mixture of live instruments and loops and sort of programmed and not programmed drums, and I like it. I like it. I think I can dig more into how I structured it. So I always find with songwriting that it's good to know what the rules are in order to bend the rules, as with most art forms, weirdly, but also sticking to a really well-known and strong structure will give your song that catchiness and sing-along ability. And yeah, I think a few rules I stick by is having the same structure, being intro, verse, chorus, bridge, middle eight, chorus, then maybe another chorus, then an outro, and trying to keep it under 3 minutes. I've recently started breaking these rules, but to get my songwriting to move along, that's what I like doing, especially for the tracks that I'm working on releasing now. So we have in this the intro, which introduces some of the sort of ear candy elements of the sirens and the little everything drops down for the verses, from what the drums are doing to there not being really anything extra. Kicks up a bit for the chorus with just a fuller drum sound, and then for the middle eight, that's where you get all this interesting stuff going on of everything happening. And when we went through it, we actually then decided for this chorus to drop pretty much everything out. So I think I'm going to try and do it quick. Then everything back in. So it all builds up to this ending, and then I enjoyed having the weird sound do this countdown, count out thing. That's it. Yeah. That's how I made Madonna. I'll be a man, and then I thought I would